In this video, I'm giving you the keys to my kingdom. You are now a part of my inner circle. I have never shared this information publicly, and it's been really, really impactful for developing the brands for my clients that I've worked with, both in the seven-figure agency that I help build, and then all of the entrepreneurs that I work with that have really big dreams now, who I prefer working with small entrepreneurs like me over the big businesses. So it helps, it's helpful, it's impactful, and it changes your perspective on brands to first discover that you are the royalty archetype and to accept that, to embrace it. But it's even more helpful to have a greater sense of specificity or granular understanding of what that means for you. So I've identified different subtypes that actually fall underneath the royalty archetype that are going to give you an even better understanding of your archetype. And like I said, I've never shared that publicly. And even now, you're only getting this information because you've invested in yourself and you've invested in your brand. So before we get to that, let's talk about what types of brands the royalty archetype works especially well for. So if you have a high status product that's used by powerful people to enhance their power, it's a natural fit. If you sell products that help people be more organized, this may seem like an interesting one, but your archetype values order and laws and a sense of like a code of conduct. So helping people be more organized and bring their lives into order is actually very on archetype. If you offer technical assistance or information that helps people maintain or enhance their personal power, if you are seeking to differentiate from a more populist brand or one that is the clear leader, you can come in with a position of power and appeal to people with the royal archetype because you are offering exclusivity, you're offering a higher value at probably a higher price point, and it's a great way to differentiate yourself in those ways. If you operate within a relatively stable field or offer products that promise safety and predictability in a chaotic world, that also works really well for the royalty archetype. If you have more expensive products or service, or you want to charge a premium for your products or services in the market. Also, you see it often for discretionary products. So things that are not necessary to live. There was a scandal recently in the United States where a pharmaceutical drug raised their prices dramatically on a prescription drug that people needed. I can't remember exactly what if it was diabetes or what it cured, but that's really frowned upon because that's something that people need to live. So charging a really premium price for that doesn't really work well. So if you have a product that isn't necessary, it's something that people choose to invest in, choose to use as a indication of their status or their good taste, then this archetype works really, really well. Okay, let's get into the secret sauce here, the subtypes. So reflect as I'm speaking to each of these subtypes where you think that you fall in. And there's another sheet in the guidebook to have some written reflection on where you think you lie. So the subtypes that I see are the king or the queen, the Midas, and the representative. So let's talk about each of them. The king or the queen is sovereign and in service to the people in their community. So you are cultivating the success and the prosperity of your audience, of your community, and you are either in or you're out. You're either a part of it and loyal to the kingdom or you're not. And you have an elevated status due to beauty, birth, or ability. So people might flock to you because you are aspirational in one of these ways, or they do look up to you because you're aspirational in one of these ways. Either it's because of the amazing results that you've had, maybe you were just born with a lot of money and a lot of privilege, or on a more on a more likely level, you probably were born with some really amazing talents, because we all were, but yours are very apparent to people and they want to know how you do what you do. So the cultural context, the question to ask yourself if you're this subtype is, who do you serve and how can you lead by example? The people in the kingdom look up to their king to be in service to them, to benefit them, and also to lead the kingdom by example. So the conduct and the mindset and the beliefs of the leader of the kingdom influences everybody that's in it. Right, the next subtype is the Midas. So this is most often seen in the successful entrepreneur or CEO. Basically, everything you touch turns to gold. So you have extraordinary talent, vision, and results that people are in awe of. They aspire to be like you. They aspire to have similar results as you. So this is the Midas. In the cultural context, the question to ask is, what will you do with your talent and power? So like Leonardo DiCaprio's character in The Wolf of Wall Street, who had an extraordinary talent for selling and for the stock market, how will you choose to use that results and those benefits that you get in the terms of impact and money and monetary things? Are you going to use it for good? Are you going to use it for your own benefit? Are you going to use it to benefit others? All of those are possibilities with the Midas subtype. The last one is perhaps a more humble or humble with more humility. This type of subtype is the representative. So you are the person that makes the rules or the laws of your community. You are chosen by the people and elected into position. And the cultural context here is, how will you represent the people's interests? So the people who have chosen you as their leader, how are you going to benefit them? How are you going to shape the structure of the culture or the community or the industry that you're in to benefit them and benefit the good of the people? So next thing that might also be really helpful is the evolution of your archetype. So you can also see where you fall in this. And this comes from the book by Carol S. Pearson that is linked in this section. So level 1 is taking responsibility for the state of your life, seeking healing of the wounds or areas of powerlessness that are reflected in scarcity in your outer life, and you're concerned primarily with your own life or your own family. So it's a more intimate view of the royal. Level 2 is developing the skills and creating structures for manifesting your own dreams in the real world. And you're concerned for the good of whatever group or community you belong to. So you're extending your influence. And in level 3, you are fully utilizing all resources available to you, internal as well as external, and you're concerned with the good of the society or the planet. So you're extending your impact and your influence farther and farther. And none of these are necessarily better than the other. They're just a good way to, again, add specificity and a greater, more detailed level of understanding about what your archetype is, the role that you play in people's lives.